Open your eyes. Can you see me? Now just focus on the ceiling. I watch you.
Hola, estamos aquí con Madhup Gulati. Él es Principal Product Manager en Oracle Global y él va a dar una charla durante Software Guru Cloud, durante SG Cloud, sobre el cómputo en la nube. Entonces, vamos a preguntarle a Madhup sobre cuál es la visión de Oracle en cuanto a cómputo en la nube, a dónde va, cuáles son las tendencias y bueno, que nos platique sobre la charla que va a tener lugar aquí en este congreso. Okay? So, welcome, Madhup.
Thank you.
To Mexico, to Software Guru Cloud.
Thank you very much.
So, you're a Principal Product Manager at Oracle Worldwide.
Yes.
What does it mean?
So I work in the Oracle Enterprise Manager
Mhm.
product group, and that is basically Oracle's flagship product for doing data center management. And as you know, Oracle has leadership in several areas like Oracle Applications, Oracle Middleware, Oracle Database, and then Oracle Enterprise Manager manages everything from Oracle Database to Fusion Middleware to Oracle Applications and other third-party products. So it's kind of so I belong to that group, and I also work in the cloud management initiative that Oracle is driving across the board for Oracle products.
Okay. And what's the approach that Oracle is taking about the cloud?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I can speak for Oracle, but I can say that what we are saying is a lot of the Oracle products that we have today, we are making sure that they are available in the cloud environment. We think that cloud is not so much a revolution, but it's an evolution of technologies. So if you look at how people used to do computing before with siloed computing, where they had dedicated infrastructure for every application, and then they moved to a grid-like infrastructure where you had shared services and applications leveraging the shared services in a grid environment. And we think cloud is an evolution from grid onto a more pay-per-use model and a more self-service provisioning model where users can come in and provision resources on the fly. So it's kind of an evolution, and Oracle is trying its best to make sure that our Oracle customers are enhanced and are ready to adopt the cloud.
But as Oracle, we think that cloud is not so much a completely new thing or a revolution. We think it's an evolution of the technologies that have already existed and some of the new ideas and paradigms of using the existing technologies in a different way. So if you look at the evolution, let's start here. People had dedicated infrastructure for their applications, very siloed, right, very static. They couldn't move things around. That was like the old style, right, siloed infrastructure. This was mostly in the early 90s, mid 90s. And then people moved to the grid where they said they will have shared services. They will not give dedicated resources to different applications. They would do clustering, right? Grid based on clustering. They can do shared services. They can do dynamic allocation of resources for the applications based on how much it needs. But that same concept, if you extend further, you will see with private cloud, now you're looking at self-service. You're looking at better chargeback, figuring out who uses what. You're looking at policy-based management. There were a lot of policies in the grid taking care of when the cluster should scale and not scale. But cloud really kind of magnifies that challenge, and it says that, can I do more automation? So I don't want manual intervention to change capacity. I want an automated expansion and contraction of capacity. So more policies, more workload management in an automated way.
Could you talk to us about how the customers are taking all these cloud buzz? Because they have a lot of money invested in application servers, in consultants.
Yes.
So the cloud is facing to the other side. So how are the customers?
So, if you look at last couple of years, people were very confused with all the cloud messages going around, and everybody's trying to define cloud in a different way. But I think by now, we could be hearing customers, what they want, or they're looking for the benefits that cloud gives. And you can see a clear trend that what people are looking for is, more more hands-on services, infrastructure services for their business users. So if you look at a typical IT customer, what they want is being able to offer their business users certain infrastructure services so users can provision things on their own. Also for developers who are looking to develop things quickly and really fast, especially if they're small startups or enterprises having large development groups, then they're looking for some sort of a platform as a service offering where an IT department can give them a platform which they can request and then test and deploy their applications on. So from a development point of view.
Okay.
So a lot of the large customers think that these benefits are something that they want. And we are hearing customers who are going towards it. I think in the next 5 years, a considerable IT budget would be dedicated to cloud.
5 years.
In the next 2 to 5 years.
Yeah, that's a nice number. So just talk about startups and developers. Normally, a startup. I have a startup. By the way, I don't look. My first chance for partner for software isn't a big company like Oracle, IBM. So, what can do Oracle for the developers, for the startups here in Latin America?
Right. So, now with the acquisition of Sun, we also have Java and we have MySQL, the database. And we have a large community of developers, that are using these products. So we, want to make sure that they're comfortable, and as we move to cloud, these things are supported. So if you look at, Java as an open source, it's an open language, and there is a community around it. And if you look at Oracle Fusion middleware, it is a platform based on WebLogic and supports Java. And we are making sure that our cloud offering has this platform as a service, which involves a WebLogic server, SOA Suite, and other Java-based offerings. So for developers who are looking to build Java applications, they can leverage Oracle WebLogic and Fusion middleware in the cloud for building applications. Also, we announced a product called Oracle Virtual Assembly Builder. It's a tool that helps developers put together a multi-tier application. So say if you have an application that has a front-end HTTP server and a load balancer and say a middleware WebLogic server and some database in the back end, they can tie these things together into a metadata file and what we call as an assembly. And then these assemblies can be deployed in the cloud. So we are looking at how to do fast provisioning of applications in the cloud and how you can help developers build these Java applications, and package them as assemblies or appliances like software appliances to deploy in the cloud.
What does cloud need, and what automation is required? Cloud needs agility and flexibility. That means the tools should help you do rapid provisioning, mass patching, right? Because you have a huge infrastructure, lifecycle management. Cloud says you have a unified view, you have a centralized control because it's a centralized infrastructure, it's not distributed. Cloud is centralized, right? That means you need a centralized monitoring tool. One place, one dashboard to see everything, not 5 different tools. So people who are trying to do cloud but don't want to get rid of their 20 different management tools, they cannot succeed, right? Because you have one tool that shows you storage metrics, another tool that shows you database metrics, third tool that shows you application metrics. Unless you tie these things together, you cannot do capacity management, you cannot do performance management in the cloud because these tiers have to be connected, right? So cloud brings you back into centralized computing from distributed computing, right? So you have to think again of tools that are they can do things across the board and not niche tools. So consolidation of tools is another big effort most large customers do when they move to cloud, right? Centralized monitoring, config management across the board, so any changes that are happening in the infrastructure, in the cloud components, you should be able to track across the board. Transparency, again, being able to see what's happening inside the cloud. Cloud doesn't mean it's a black box. It's a black box for the users, but it's not a black box for the administrator. You should be able to track resources. You should know what requests are coming in from the end users, right? You should know how your assets are performing. So it should be very transparent. The management tool should give you that ability to track your virtual resources, physical resources, platform components, infrastructure components, application components, services that are running, everything. And application visibility, any management tool that only manages the infrastructure cannot manage cloud. It has to manage the service and the application. And end-to-end automation, more automation, you're more closer to cloud.
Talking about your visit, what would you, your talk is about cloud computing?
Yes.
What would you?
So the focus of the talk is on really understanding what it takes to build a cloud. And there are a lot of people here who are here to just learn what is the industry offering, you know. And what I'm going to focus on is how to build a cloud and how do you do management for the cloud pieces. And as I just mentioned, how a developer or other people can leverage an existing cloud. We're going to talk about some of the experiences that Oracle IT has had in using and building the cloud, because Oracle IT is a customer of our own customer. So we have experimented with building clouds over the years and shared services and self-service provisioning. Oracle IT is Oracle On Demand, Oracle University, Oracle Development IT. And from that we've learned a lot about how to build a cloud and what are the challenges in managing a cloud. So I'm going to also focus on what does it take to do lifecycle management, or platform as a service lifecycle management. How do you do monitoring for the cloud, diagnostics, performance diagnostics in the cloud? How do you make sure that you're compliant with regulatory requirements if you're building and managing a cloud? What sort of policies you can set up in your cloud? So I'm going to just focus on how to build and manage a cloud and what are the challenges there.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Madhup.
Good to talk to you too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Y gracias a todos por escucharnos.
Open